Okay, good morning, my dear students. So last class we have discussed about the coordinate frame. So what is mapping between two coordinates? What are the possibilities of mapping between two coordinates? And so transformations. So transforms the coordinates from one coordinate to the one coordinate frame to the another coordinate frame. Okay, so let us briefly look at the last class lecture. So what is coordinate frame? It is a set of three orthogonal right-handed axes, which are called principal axes. Okay. So for example, in a coordinate frame, so P is a point which is in 3D space. Okay. So describe this point P. So describe this point P with respect to the frame set, respect the coordinate frame. So that description of the point P, it represents the position of the point in 3D space and its orientation. Okay. So here, so P bar or OP bar, it is a vector, positional vector. So which is represented as Px x bar plus Py y bar plus Pz z bar. So you know where x cap or x bar, y bar and z bar are the unit vectors along x, y, z axis, and where px, py, pz are the coordinate lengths of a point P. Okay. Now alpha, beta, gamma are the angles of a vector with respect to x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Okay, the vector, it can be written as it can be written in matrix form. It is a vector, always a column matrix. Okay, so this is px, py, pz is the vector. So cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma are the direction cosines. So direction cosines of that vector. So where capital L is the magnitude of that vector. So magnitude of that vector, that is square root of px square plus py square plus pz square. Here the superscript number 1, it indicates the frame. It indicates the frame, just frame with respect to that frame. So these are the values of coordinates of that point P. Okay, so what is mapping? So mapping, it refers to changing the description of a point or vector in space from one frame to the another frame. Okay, changing the description of a point in space from one frame to the another frame. So here, so while mapping, we need to remember the 3 points which are related to the second frame, which are actually the possibilities in relation to the first frame. So the first possibility, the second frame, it is rotated with respect to the first, but the origin of both the frames is same. So in between those two frames, the second frame has pure rotation with respect to the first frame. Okay. So in robotics, this is referred as changing the orientation. Changing the orientation. So this possibility in robotics is known as changing the orientation. And the second possibility, the second frame, it can be moved away from the first frame. It means that the origin of second frame, which is away from the origin of the first frame. But the axis of the second frame and the axis of the first frames are parallel. They are mutually parallel. Okay. So this kind of possibility, it is known as the second frame as pure translation from the first frame. Okay, the third possibility, it is the second frame as both rotation and translation. Both rotation and translation. Okay. So that second frame, which is away from the first frame in aspect of origin. Okay. Say at the other point, the origin of the second frame, at the origin of the second frame, the frame has translation and rotation. Okay. So today in our class, in this class, I will discuss this third possibility. Say last class, I discussed two possibilities. So rotation and translation, mapping of between the two frames. Okay. So last class we have seen mapping between rotated frames. Okay. So where there are two frames, in those two frames, point P is in the space, is in the space. Okay. So in that case, with respect to first frame, so this is the vector. With respect to the second frame, so this is the vector. Okay. So these are the two vectors with respect to frame 1 and with respect to frame 2. Okay, so this is in first possibility. So origin of both the frames are at the same point O. Okay, so here the frame 1 is XYZ, the frame 2 is UVW. So the point P, which is in space, so related to both the frames. Okay, so here it is the general formula. This indicates so 1P is equal to 1 R 2P. Okay, so the point P are here the frame 2, which is transformed into the frame 1, which is transformed into the frame 1. Okay, or the second frame, which is with respect to the frame 1. Okay, 1P is equal to 1 R 2P. Okay, so here 1 R2, it is this is one purely rotational matrix. The second frame, the rotation of second frame with respect to the first frame. This is the meaning. Okay, so this 1 R2, it is in the vector form. I mean in terms of unit vector, in terms of unit vectors of both the vectors P1 and P2, 1P and 2P. So x bar dot u bar, x bar dot v bar, x bar dot w bar. So suppose in the case of 2R1, so the elements in this rotation matrix, so u bar x bar, u bar y bar, u bar z bar. Okay. So in the second row, v bar x bar, v bar y bar, so v bar z bar. So like that, we have to read this rotational matrix. One with respect to frame 2, frame 1 with respect to frame 2. Okay. The property of this rotation matrix, so the determinant of this rotation matrix is always 1. Its inverse, the product of R matrix and its transpose matrix is always unit matrix. Is always, so the product of R and R transpose always unit matrix. Okay, and so inverse of this rotational matrix is also equal to identical with the transpose of that R matrix. Okay, because the determinant of this rotation matrix is 1. So mapping between translated frames. So now between the frames, so only translation. When there is a only translation, so what is the relation? Okay, so here we have 3 vectors. So one is O1 to O2 vector. The other one is O2 to P vector, O2 P vector, and third one is O1 P vector. So these 3 vectors form a triangle. Okay. So according to the law of vector triangle, so you know the relation. So the longest side of the triangle O1P vector is equal to summation of the other 2 vectors. So O2P plus O1 O2. So this is vector P with respect to frame 1 is equal to vector P with respect to 2 plus so translation distance. So translation of second frame with respect to frame 1. Okay. So this is the actual full form of that above equation. Okay. Oh, so here I want to introduce homogeneous transformation coordinates. Okay. So here in a frame, X, Y, Z are the Cartesian coordinates. So they are orthogonal. So they are orthogonal coordinate axes. Okay. So here homogeneous transformation, homogeneous coordinates are 4. Okay. So let us consider okay. So before that, so let us read so this sentence. So translation is qualitatively different from rotation in one important respectively. Okay, so in one important aspect, so in rotation, so the origin of 2 coordinate frames is same, you know, it's in the first possibility. So this invariance of the origin, so because of this characteristic, it allows the representation of rotations in 3D space as 3x3 rotation matrix. But in translation, so the origins of translated frame and original frame are not coincident. So in that case, the translation is represented as 3x1 vector. Okay. So from this point, so you may know the difference between so why rotation matrix is represented as 3x3. So why the vector is represented as column matrix. Okay. So here in the rotation case, so both the origins of the frames are at the same point. Okay. So that characteristic, that invariance of the origin characteristic, it allows the representation of rotation in 3D space as 3x3 rotation matrix. But in translation, So the origins are translated from one frame to the other frame. So there is no coincidence between those points, between those origins. So that translation is represented as 3/1 vector. Okay. So here I am introducing some powerful, powerful representation of translation in 4D space of homogeneous coordinates. So 4D space of homogeneous coordinates. So which is different from Cartesian coordinates. So here I introduce fourth dimension to the Cartesian coordinates. Okay, that fourth dimension. So I introduce here at the in the fourth row of the column. In the fourth row of the column matrix. Okay, so this sigma. So this sigma, it is a fourth dimension. So when I add this fourth dimension in this vector, so that representation is the homogeneous coordinates representation. So here, what is sigma value? So this sigma, this fourth component sigma, is a non-zero positive scale factor. Which means that sigma is always greater than 0. So the physical coordinates are obtained by dividing each component in the homogeneous representation by the scale factor. So when we introduce this sigma, so the physical coordinates which can be obtained by dividing each component in the homogeneous representation by the scale factor. Suppose if the value of the scale factor is set to 1, so the components of homogeneous and Cartesian representation are identical. Okay, if sigma is equal to 1, so the components of homogeneous and the components of Cartesian are represented in an identical form. Okay, so now this scale factor, it can be used for magnifying or shrinking components of vector in homogeneous coordinates representation. Okay, so this scale factor can be used, okay, for either magnifying or shrinking the components of homogeneous coordinates in the vector. So for example, let us consider a physical vector. So this physical vector m bar. Okay. So let us take a sample. So 5, -2, 3 are the components in that vector. Okay. So in matrix form, it is m is equal to 5, -2, 3 is the column matrix. It is equivalent to homogeneous coordinate vector. So homogeneous coordinate vector L is equal to 5, -2, 3, 1. Okay, see here the scale factor is 1. Okay, so when the scale factor is 1, so the components in this homogeneous coordinate, the components in the Cartesian coordinate are identical when the scale factor is 1. So if the scale factor is 2, so the components of Cartesian and homogeneous coordinates are magnified to 2 times. So for example, 5 into 2, it is 10. The first component. The second component, -2 into 2, -4. 2 into 3, 6. Okay, the scale factor is 2. Suppose if the scale factor is half, so 1/2, 0.5. So the components in both the coordinate systems, homogeneous or Cartesian, so they are halved. So they are become halved. So 2.5 -1, 1.5. Okay. So in robotics subject, we take that scale factor sigma as 1. always 1. Okay. So now let us look at homogeneous coordinates of equation 2.17 is written in the matrix form. So homogeneous coordinates. So what is equation 2.17? Let us look at. So this is the equation, the short form of mapping between translated frames. Okay, this is the equation for mapping between translated frames. Okay, so 1p, 2p plus 1d2. So this equation, it is written in homogeneous coordinates matrix form. Okay. See, 1p is equal to, so here actually it is p2 plus 2p. So this p1p is equal to position of p with respect to second frame plus, so translation distance 1 translation d second frame with respect to 1. Okay. So this matrix form is equivalent to this equation. Okay. So you see, so now the matrix, this is 4x4 matrix. So why it is earlier it is a 3x3 matrix, rotational 3x3 rotation matrix, but now it is a 4x4 matrix. Why it is 4x4? I will discuss. Okay, so you know this is the vector. So position of p with respect to frame 2. Okay, frame 2. So in short form, so it is written as this matrix form is written as 1p is equal to 1t to 2p. So where this 1t2, it is the basic transformation matrix. So basic transformation matrix. So this 4x4 matrix is a homogeneous transformation matrix. So here in this case, in this particular case, it is for translation. It is for translation of origin O2 from O1. Okay. Okay, this R by 4, sorry, 4x4 transformation matrix is called the basic homogeneous transformation matrix. Okay. So here in this discussion, you may understood. So why fourth dimension is added? That is the scale factor. So which is essential in robotics. The matrix, we need to convert it into homogeneous transformation. Okay, which is useful while operating the matrices in this particular subject. Okay, so let us third possibility of the mapping between two frames. Okay, mapping between rotated and translated frames. Rotated and translated frames. So earlier we have seen rotated frames, mapping between rotated frames, and mapping between translation. So now mapping between both rotation and translation of frames. So again consider the two frames, frame 1 and frame 2. Their origins are apart, O1, O2. So here I consider one more frame, which is auxiliary frame. See, in between original frames, okay, frame 1 and frame 2. So that auxiliary frame is here I represent as X prime, Y prime, Z prime. So this frame is 1 prime. It is denoted as 1 prime. So this 1 prime frame, so its axes are parallel to axis of the frame 1. Okay, so this is my assumption. So to formulate or for mapping the two frames 1 and 2. Okay. Yeah. So let us go through mapping between these two kinds of frames. Okay. So here, as earlier, here also three vectors are involved in this transformation for frames. So one is O1, O2, and second one O2, O2P, and third one is O1P. So according to law of triangle, so O1P is equal to O2P plus O1O2. Okay. So here O2P yeah. So here let us observe frame 1 dash and frame 2. So between frame 1 dash and between frame 1 dash and frame 2. So between these two frames, so the mapping between these two frames, which are having only pure rotation. These two frames are having only pure rotation. So in pure rotation, we have the equation. We have the equation. So that is below. So this equation. So one prime P. So 1 prime P. So 1 dash P is equal to 1 dash R2 2P. So this equation, which is similar to equation 2.9. So equation 2.9. So which is derived. So in the case of mapping between rotated frames, mapping between rotated frames. Okay. So this 1 dash R2, it is identical to 1 R2. So 1 dash R2 is equal to 1 R2. Both are identical. So instead of using this 1 dash R2, you can directly use 1 R2. Okay. So therefore, O2P, vector O2P is equal to 1 R2 2P. So now substitute this equation in the original equation, in the equation 2.21. The equation 2.21. So in this equation, you substitute that O2P vector 1 R2 2. So therefore, 1P is equal to 1 R2 2P plus translation 1 D2. So this is translation 1 D2. So summation of these two terms 1 R2 2P plus 1 D2. So we have to write this in the homogeneous matrix form. So let us see how to write. So 1D2, it is a translation vector, 3 by 1 matrix. So 1P is the 1T2. So 1P is equal to, it is 1T2 2P. So this 1T2 2P is equal to 1R2 2P plus D1 D2. Okay, so this form, it is in the homogeneous transformation form. So this is partition transformation form. Okay, so let us look at the transformation matrix. So transformation matrix, which represents, so in this matrix, the elements, they represent both rotation and translation elements. Okay, so let us see. So let us read this paragraph. Okay, so here 1P and 2P are the 4 by 1 vectors according to homogeneous transformation. So 4 by 1 vectors, as in equation 2.19, we have seen in previous. Okay, with a scale factor of 1. Okay, and now this T, this capital T is a 4 by 4 matrix. It is referred to as the homogeneous transformation matrix, or simply homogeneous transform. So this T, it describes both the position and orientation of P with respect to the position and orientation of frame 2 with respect to frame 1. Okay, so or any frame with respect to any other frame. Okay, so the components of this matrix 1T2 matrix are as under. So so this transformation matrix is very, very important in this subject. Okay, see. So the components in this transformation matrix. So this, this matrix, this 3 by 3 matrix. So this 3 by 3 matrix, it is represented only rotation. This 3 by 3 matrix represented only rotation. So this vector, so this 3 by 1, this 3 by 1 matrix, it is represented only translation. Okay, this is scale factor. This is scale factor. So this is this row of elements in this matrix are zeros. So this row of this row matrix, it is actually perspective matrix. It is called perspective matrix. Okay, so the thing we need to understand this in this matrix. So this transformation matrix, this 4 by 4 transformation matrix, it indicates the position and orientation of the second frame, the position and orientation of the second frame with respect to the frame 1. So that is the thing we need to understand in this matrix. Okay. So let us look at the different parts of this matrix. Okay, so this matrix, it is actually divided into 4 parts. So which are separated by the dotted lines as shown in this figure. So the four submatrices of a generalized homogeneous transformation are, so the first 3 by 3 matrix is known as rotation matrix. It is always rotation matrix. Okay. So this 3 by 1 matrix, this is always translation matrix, translation vector. This 1 by 3 row matrix is a perspective transformation matrix. So this 1 by 1 part is scale factor. This 1 by 1 matrix is a scale factor. Okay. So what is the use of this perspective transformation matrix? So this perspective transformation matrix it is useful in vision systems. I mean, in vision systems means in sensors point of view. So this perspective transformation is very essential. And so this perspective transformation matrix is set to 0. So where there are no perspective views are involved, where there are no perspective views are involved. So in such a case, so we simply put 0 values at those places in the perspective transformation matrix. Okay. So scale factor, it is a non-zero positive value, always greater than 0. So it is called global scaling factor. So scaling factor or a global scaling parameter. So greater than 1 is useful for reducing okay. So here sigma greater than 1 is useful for reducing. Sigma in between 0 and 1 is useful for enlarging. Is useful for enlarging. For robotic study, so we always take this sigma as 1. Okay. Okay. You forget about reducing and enlarging. So those are not necessary in this robotic study. Okay. So for describing the position and orientation of the frame 2 with respect to frame 1, so it takes the form, generalized form of this matrix, transformation matrix 1, 2, 2. So it is 1 R2. It is this rotation matrix. Translation matrix 1 D2. So this perspective transformation matrix is always zeros, and scale factor is always 1 in robotic study. Okay, so it is general. This is general form of homogeneous transformation matrix for the. Okay. Suppose in reverse case, in the reverse problem. So when 1p is known, okay, so the position of frame is known. So the position of frame 2 is unknown. It is yet to be found. It is yet to be found. So in that case, we need to take the equation. So simply, we take the vector p with respect to frame 2, left side of the equal to, and to the right side of this equal to, it is transformation matrix is a 2t1. Okay, so this transformation matrix is different from this transformation matrix 1t2. Okay, so 1p. So this 2t1, which is always equal to inverse of this matrix 1t2. So you remember, so this equation is also very, very important. Yes. Okay. So in the above equation is useful when the frame two position and orientation is known. So frame one is to be found. So in that case, you use that equation. So in this case, in this reverse problem, so the frame one is known, frame two is to be found. So in this case, you have to use this equation. So now, so let us know about how to describe the object in space. Okay, so actually in space, in our physical world, there are objects. There are objects in space, not points. See, in points wise on the object, there are number of points on the object, but we need to describe an object in space is very important in the subject as subject pointer. So let us read this paragraph. So the location of an object. So when it is completely specified in 3D space by describing both its position and orientation. So then only we call it as a completely specified. That object is completely specified in 3D space. Okay, position and orientation చెప్పినప్పుడే ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ యొక్క పొజిషన్ అండ్ ఓరియంటేషన్ స్పేస్ లో ఎలా ఉంది అనేది చెప్పినప్పుడే సో దాన్ని కంప్లీట్ స్పెసిఫికేషన్ గా మాట్లాడతాం. ఓకే, సో హియర్ ఐ కన్సిడర్ a body P in space, so whose location is to be specified with respect to known reference frame 0. Okay, so let a frame with origin O1, frame 1 to be attached to the body B as shown in figure. So this is the figure. So here, so this is the reference frame. So reference frame, it is always fixed at one point. So the origin of this reference frame is fixed at one point. Okay, and the object it is placed in 3D space. Okay, so let us assume this object which is at some distance from the origin of reference frame. Okay, so that distance we need to read as 0 d1, you know. So this distance is the translation distance of frame 1 with respect to reference frame 0. Okay, so here the frame 1 which is attached to the body at the origin O1, at the origin O1. Okay, so the frame 1 which has both translation and rotation with respect to reference frame 0. With respect to reference frame 0. So in such a case, we need to locate the object in 3D space by its position and orientation. Okay, here I read one sentence. With that, I stop the lecture. See, in robotic arm, so the location of links is specified by assigning frames to each link starting from the base to the tool or end effector. So here, so in robotic arm, the location of links are also important. Or also we need to specify them in space. For that case, we need to assign frames different frames at each end of the link, which are from starting point of the link, from the base to the last link, the tool link. It means that end effector. At the end of the end effector, at each end of the link, we need to assign some frames, different frames. Okay, so the convention of such frames we will discuss in the next classes. But here, I would like to not now. I would like to convention of the assigning frame to the end effector. So I will discuss in the next class. Okay. So the convention for assigning frames to the end effector, I will discuss in the next class. Okay, not now. Okay. So here I stop the lecture. Okay. So before I closing the lecture, so let us look at the summary of the today's lecture. Okay, so today I discussed the third possibility of the second frame rotation, the second frame position. Okay, so third possibility is mapping between rotated and translated frames. Okay, so for this, we need to take two frames, 1 and 2. In order to mapping those two frames, we need to take another frame which is auxiliary frame, which is actually known as supporting frame, to formulate the original two frames. Okay, so that auxiliary frame is known as x dash, y dash, z dash frame. Okay, as I said earlier, the vector summation according to vector summation, O1 p is equal to O2 p is equal to O1 O2. Okay, so from that, so this is the equation. So this is the equation. So describe a point P with respect to frame 1 by using the known position of the coordinate frame 2. Okay, so 1p is equal to 1, p 2p. Okay, so this is the basic equation. So the discussion is going on about this matrix 1t2. So that 1t2 is the homogeneous 4x4 homogeneous transformation matrix. So the components in this matrix are, so in this matrix actually it indicates the position and orientation of the second frame with respect to first frame. Okay, so this matrix has 4 parts. So 3 by 3 left top corner 3 by 3 matrix is there, rotation matrix. So right top corner translation vector, and bottom left corner, so left bottom corner perspective transformation matrix, right bottom corner scale factor. So scale factor is 1 for in robotic study. So this is for reverse problem. So in reverse case, so this is the equation. So next, how to describe an object in space. Okay, I discussed here. So here we take one frame as reference frame, which is fixed frame, and the other frame which is attached to the body, Then only we can describe the body its position and orientation. Okay, so this I will discuss in the next class. So thank you very much. Okay, thus I am leaving the class.